I don't know how many people that watch my channel know, but I have a Twitter, and I say some dumb stuff on there, but I also just use it as like a dumping place for various thoughts I have on series and stuff I don't think would be enough material to make a whole video out of. But there's some times where the thoughts go on and on and on in like a really long-winded thread, and sometimes I wonder if it would be better in just the form of a short video instead. So I decided to try verbalizing what I had to say into the form of a short video instead of a Twitter thread, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so like here's my little thought, right? It's that I think that when a series can make you care about the most ridiculous things, that it's a sign of really good writing. And to be more specific, I don't mean, oh my god, comedy series can also be serious? They don't have to be just one genre? That's crazy! Like, everyone knows that, that's obvious. Like, what I'm talking about is specific, like, random objects or, like, wacky character designs or, like, you know, like, a thing you can, like, hone in on, and then, like, you look at it and you start crying, and then someone who hasn't seen the series is like, what the fuck, why are you crying over a broccoli? Like that kind of thing, you know? And for the sake of this weird point I'm trying to make, I do have examples to explain what I'm talking about. 3 of them. Okay, my first example is a Mob Psycho arc that happens really far into the series, so be careful, there's like season 3 spoilers. It's the Divine Tree arc, it's my favorite arc, and I really think that the degree it can make you care about its different, like, random things is amazing. The fact that it can make you care about this giant dumb broccoli, the fact that it can make you care about a dumb monkey shirt, and the fact that it can make you care about this little green fart guy. And now I'm realizing that it seems kind of confusing that I'm saying 3 examples and I'm bringing them up from a specific series, but I mean 3 examples from 3 different series, but this one example has 3 examples within it. It's like sub-examples, just keep with me here. So I guess I'm like explaining it, right? So the broccoli, in the beginning of season 2, Mob gets given broccoli seeds as compensation for one of the exorcism jobs he does in place of money because the farmer can't pay and Reagan gives him broccoli seeds. So he puts them in his uniform pocket, and then way off in the final battle with Toichiro that he's having, he tries to absorb Toichiro's energy so that the explosion doesn't happen, and when he absorbs it, it goes to where his heart is, but that's also where his chest pocket is, and that's where the broccoli seeds are being kept. And so then a big explosion happens, but everyone sort of looks on in bewilderment, and later on we see that the explosion had turned into a ginormous broccoli. And listen, I'm really bad at being brief about things, so I'll try my best here, but basically, the mysterious giant broccoli being in the town makes everyone wonder who did it and if it's some sort of divine figure, and because this little fart guy Dimple had wanted this like godly status throughout the entire series, and that's like the first encounter he has with the main character Mob, he then asks Mob if Mob wants to team up with him to be like gods together, and Mob says no, and so Dimple goes off on his own and impersonates this divine figure that the city had thought up, and so the entire city gets brainwashed except for Mob, and Mob gradually makes his way to like go to the broccoli to confront Dimple himself. The point is, right, the broccoli is the thing that like kicks off this big arc. Like, all this conversation happens within the big broccoli, and all these like serious like conversations about their dynamic and everyone being brainwashed in the town and whether to resolve this with power or force or what is being had in this big fuck off broccoli. And not only that, it also makes you care about this monkey shirt, because when Mob was thinking of going to the auditions, he gets this monkey shirt picked out for him, and the people around him don't have the guts to tell him that it's a really lame shirt. And so he wears it like under his uniform, and he's in the broccoli and he's having his conversation with Dimple, and it's this really like dramatic scene, and these fights are happening and things escalate to the point where Dimple's in like fight or flight mode and like thinking that he's gonna be like eradicated, and he like throws like a bluff kind of punch at Mob, and it like shreds his uniform away and it reveals the monkey shirt. And the monkey shirt is the thing that brings them down from being at each other's throats to talking normally, and it's super important because it then cues Mob to realize that yes, this is Dimple despite all the weird stuff he's been saying. Because he's been asking this whole time like, what are you doing? What's your motivation? Can we talk? What do you want? And Dimple's talking to him, but it's with the pretense of like, oh, this is gonna turn into a fight probably, and I'm probably gonna lose. When Mob asks like, are you scared of me? He just doesn't answer. And like Mob tries asking him again in this like really tense scene, like, what do you think? I just want to hear your honest thoughts. And Dimple's still being dodgy and dishonest. And things would have turned out probably really horribly if not for this dumb monkey shirt. Because like the first thing Dimple says, he like pauses and then he's like, that shirt's lame. And then Mob's like, what? And at first you think that he's like insulted enough to attack him, but it's actually that he realized that Dimple's being honest and that's who Dimple is. One of his defining traits is his bluntness, and it shows that everyone else has been, you know, dodgy about the monkey shirt. They've been dishonest about saying how lame it is. Dimple tells him straight up. He, like, goes into this, like, little rambling about, like, did you get it on a bargain sale? Are you wearing it, like, out of pity? Did you have nothing else to wear? What's going on? Why are you wearing this shirt? I'm kind of feeling worried for you. And, like, starts, you know, talking more as, like, himself when things are more relaxed. And so it makes things more relaxed. And they, like, start genuinely talking and having, like, an actual heart-to-heart, which is what they've been, like, you know, missing this whole time. They've been unable to communicate like this, and the monkey shirt lets them communicate well. And then to also bring in the whole, you know, green fart character thing is that, well, not only is Dimple's default character design this, like, green fart thing, but also he turns into this, like, golden statue thing. And it looks ridiculous. But again, this big serious scene is being had. And so the whole thing about this arc is, like, its ability to make you care about, like, crazy, ridiculous stuff, honestly. And so then by the time the arc's ending, you're crying at these things that would be ridiculous out of context. Like, this kid at this lame monkey shirt is waving to what he thinks is a green fart, and he's actually like, golden statue muscular thing that's missing an arm, and he's about to be eaten by a giant sentient broccoli. And the kid, like, leaves the giant broccoli with this dumb monkey shirt and tells everyone let's go home, and the broccoli floats up into the sky. The giant oversized broccoli is just boom, and you're crying because it makes you care, and it's great. Okay, I said this would be like a short video, and I'm again falling into the trap of rambling too much. This is a bit of a problem with me. Next example is Sarazanmai. I should probably preface this part of the video with some kind of suggestive content warning, so, like, here you go. There's, like, suggestive content. Here's a timestamp. Sarazanmai is a really hard sell, okay? This is a really tough anime to, like, convince someone to watch, and I honestly don't fault people for it. Like, I don't recommend this anime that often, even though I like it. And in this case, I think the wacky thing is this musical sequence that happens in most of the episodes, where the main characters turn into Kappa, and they do this, like, song and dance, like, this little musical number. And Kappa, it's like a folklore thing where Kappa take, like, a shirikodama out of someone's butt. And this happens, like, every episode. These three Kappa do this little, like, dance thing, and then they, like, fly over to the other side of this, like, monster thing, and they, like, take the shirikodama out of its butt. And, like, the first time you're seeing this, you're like, what the hell's going on? Why? Why are we doing this? But it happens nearly every episode. And so then, okay, spoilers, there's these two rival characters who have been causing problems throughout the series, but you see that their relation is, like, really complicated, and you start, like, empathizing with them. And so then there's this big climax of the story where one of them has, like, this mechanical heart but can't reveal it to the other. He can't say he loves him or else he'll die. And so the two of them, they also used to be these, like, kappas doing this, like, song and dance thing, and so then they have to do the song and dance thing, and one of them is, like, the giant monster, and then the other one is the kappa, and so he has to, like, extract his shirikodama. The big thing about that is that it makes you care about the fact that the one that's the monster is facing him, like, his butt is facing him. He's not turned around so that the kappa has to jump over. He's turned towards him. That's, like, a big emotional thing. The fact that he has his butt turned towards him is a big emotional thing, because these two have had this complicated relation, and he can't, like, tell him that he loves him, but he's still doing this as, like, a gesture of, like, trust and, like, oh, this has to be done so that you can see my honest feelings. So he's turned towards him. And the other one, the kappa, is, like, really broken up about this, but is doing it anyways, and is, like, running towards him and, like, singing passionately about it. And it's like, oh my god, oh no! And then you, like, see the scene play out, and you see the shirikodama get extracted, you see his honest feelings, the whole mechanical heart can't be revealed unless he says he loves him thing, and the misunderstanding is solved right at, like, the most tragic moment, and so then he says he loves him, and he explodes, and he dies, and it's, like, super tragic. And the thing that tips you off that, like, something is going to turn tragic and emotional and you're gonna care a lot here is that he turns his butt towards him. Like, this kind of thing. This is what I really like in writing, you know? And then, again, I'll go into the third example. The third example is this game called How to Have a Boyfriend, which has this, like, horrible stigma that, like, I've seen just a lot of people talk about it in, like, the mainstream going, like, haha, the bird dating game, haha, whatever. Fuck off, okay? It's a good game. So, you start with the pretense of, like, haha, funny birds, and you're a human, and it's, like, a school of birds, and you're, like, meeting these wacky characters, and it's like, haha, funny. But I really want to make, like, a video, like, properly explaining this, but you play the different character routes and you notice that there's different things wrong, and it makes you care gradually about these birds. Like, the essence of it is that a lot of people think that this is like some sort of like, oh, dumb parody game going into it, and so you'd likely start the game thinking, oh, this is a stereotype of a rich person, oh, this is a stereotype of a creepy character, but then those actually play into the story elements and they weave into them perfectly. Like the pompous rich character, if you play his character route, you sort of get the implication, and then in this route it's like confirmed that he learns a lot of this like really bad prejudice from his father, who's like a really horrible person. And his estranged half-brother wants to connect with him more, and then in this true ending it's revealed that he's actually his real brother. He like swapped the eggs of his own actual brother and what was supposed to be the next heir to this really rich family so that he could live in the lap of luxury in his place. And at the cost of that, he adopts all these like really bad prejudiced kind of views, and so his quote-unquote half-brother is sort of like lingering around hoping that he'll be at least somewhat of a nicer person, but can't do much about it because he can't reveal that he's actually his real brother and that he is not actually of this like royal rich blood, right? And it's a sort of tragic yet understandable dynamic. The character you think is like just a creepy doctor stereotype turns out to have like a nothing moral compass, and the one character who was a supervisor in the research facility he worked in before, who was sort of like a mentor figure to him, had passed and had nonchalantly left this sort of ambiguous like, hey, could you like do a favor for my son maybe? It's okay if you don't. And because he has like no moral compass, and because he was really distraught by this guy's passing, he takes the promise to heart and like takes it way too far and starts this like really horrible research of like this like virus and this like big like thing encompassing like a whole lot of the plot, and it kicks off the true ending of the game in the first place. And all of this happens because of this like understandably written character thing. And that's like the long-winded point I wanted to make. This is way longer than I wanted it to be. I did not script this video out. And I don't know if I'm kind of muddling the point I'm making with too much, look how weird these things are in the series, but like, I really do love these 3 series, and I really hope that this came off as like a positive thing, as like, oh, it's really good that these series are written with the ability to make you care about these like sort of wacky things, and not as like, oh my god, look how weird my series are, oh my god, blah, blah. I hope the point I'm trying to make doesn't sound crazy, right? But yeah, there's a sampling of how unhinged I can be when rambling, and all these like dumb thoughts I have that I usually just throw on some kind of post on a site instead of actually making into a video. Fucking more videos on the way, I guess. Woo!